views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hello, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Today we have a very special guest on Zoom. My interview is with DC Glenn of Tag Team, and he's wonderful. I like him. I like him already.
Hey, how you doing today?
Welcome to my show, DC.
Before we get started, I gotta do one thing.
What?
All right, sprinkles.
Hey,
All right, I'm ready
anyone
now.
know what that is about? Do explain that to me. Oh, I must be older than I thought I was. We'll tell a story about that later.
Hey, however you want to do it, Miss Patty.
Well, I'm glad you're on my show. And you're
Glad to be here.
very enlightening and positive.
Mm-hmm.
So, DC, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Chicago, Illinois, and we moved to Denver, Colorado when I was 4 years old, and I had a wonderful childhood. And Denver, Colorado is where I graduated high school, then went to college at Sacramento State University, finished up there, and then moved to Atlanta, where I've been ever since.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who influenced you the most as you were growing as a young lad?
You know what?
Nobody?
You know why?
Why?
Because all we did was play.
True.
All we did was be kids. We played, we had fun, we rode our bikes, we went all over the city. You know, we had a good community of people who looked out for us. And I would have to say my parents, of course, people in the church, you know, we come from a community, so there's too many people to name.
Right.
You know, wherever I was at, there was somebody who knew my parents, who looked out after me and nurtured me and raised me. So, you know, I am blessed in the fact that I have never not known love and never not been under someone's cultivation, under some elder's tutelage, and have learned to do things that most people don't know how to do, that everybody should know how to do. And I'm very grateful and thankful for that.
And now, does anyone come to mind who helps you along with what you're doing?
Yes. When I got to high school, Dr. Joyce Davis, she ran the choir. It was called the Boat Vibration Ensemble, Manual High School. And I wanted to be in the choir because I used to work in the tardy office, and I would just hear beautiful voices coming from down the hall. And I used to sneak down and stand on the side and listen. And one day she caught me. She was like, "Boy, come in here." It's like, "What you doing out there?" I was like, "Just listen to the music, Miss Davis." She's like, "All right, go on." And I left, but I came back after school. I was like, "Miss Davis, what I got to do to get in the choir? Because I just want to be in the choir." She was like, "Can you sing?" I was like, "I think I can." And she made me audition, and then I was in the choir. You know, so she had a big influence on me, you know, my teenage years. And then working in the truancy office, you know, Miss Patton and Miss Perry, they taught me just life lessons about how to be a man. And then had Miss Alice Langley. So I had great teachers. I had deacons and pastors and, you know, just my mother's friends and my father's friends. So I had a lot of people who influenced me and really made me the man I am today.
So it anchored you.
It really anchored me, built a foundation, and, you know, built a foundation of goodness and how to treat people and how treat people like you want to be treated, and, show respect, and respect gets earned. So those are just simple life lessons that taught me a lot and really helped me as I moved along through life.
And when you first started to become interested in music, how old were you then?
I was about 7, because my father made me, he used to play trumpet. So my father wanted me to follow in his footsteps, and he made me start playing trumpet. And then my mother made me go to piano class, and I hated both. But, I was in plays and I sang and I did little things here and there, but really didn't hit me when it came to music till I got to high school and I met Steve, the other half of tag team, Steve Rowland. And he had a band called the Business Band. They used to play at lunchtime on the quad every now and then. And the first time I saw them play, I was like, I got to be in that band. So I had to be in Steve's band. I had to be in Miss Davis's choir. And then the first high school party, the first party of the year, some of Steve's friends was the DJ. And then I saw them DJing, and I was like, I got to be a DJ. So now I'm fully immersed in music, and I started honing my craft. I used to not play anymore with my neighborhood friends because I was downstairs DJing. I started writing lyrics, started figuring how to put together songs. And when I went to college, that was the story. I was a DJ at all the parties. I'd be in class writing lyrics, and my friend had got a Tascam recorder. That was like one of the first recorders that you could record at home, like you could do with computers now. And I learned how to make songs, and I sent Steve a bunch of songs, and he was like, oh my gosh, I got to make songs. So now we're all making songs, and we just got better and better and better. When I would go home for a Christmas break or spring break or summer break, we'd be in the studio recording. And it just progressed and progressed. And when I finished up, I moved to Atlanta, and we kept making music. I was working at the clubs, and we were hitting a brick wall though, because we were in the Southeast, which is a different type of music. It's up tempo. It's called bass music. And I knew we had to really come with another perspective on how we wanted to get in the music industry. So when in Romans, you got to act like the Romans. So we had to make bass music. And the first one we made was Whoomp, There It Is. And people think Whoomp, There It Is this grand scheme of physics and whiteboards and rocket science and all these things, when it's just a song about us partying on a Friday night, right? Simple, just simple. And we recorded it, and that night I had to go to work at the club, and I popped it in a cassette tape. And to this day, that's the biggest response on any record I've ever had. And I knew. And then we started shopping it, and then we signed with Bellmark Records. I gave my 2 weeks notice at the club, signed a terrible record deal, and a month and a half, we were platinum. It was a whirlwind. We had a good time, and we just kept working and working and working. And then, then it was like, okay, things weren't going the way we wanted them to. The record company went bankrupt, and that just kind of stalled our career. And then we've been like in a 20-year lawsuit, ever since. But it wasn't all bad, because, you can either look at the glass half empty or the glass half full. We're still getting money. We're still doing shows. I'm learning how to be a paralegal, because I've spent a lot of money thinking that I could sue the record company, but you can't, because they got long money. You got short money. So then I went back to DJing, but we're still doing shows. We're traveling the world. We're having a good time. And I started venturing into other things. I'm a licensed commodities broker. I wanted to have hedge funds. I wanted to do all kinds of things, right? And
so you're a man of many hats.
Man of many hats. I use them all. And they say jack of all trades, master of none. Well, you live long enough, you master some of those trades, right? And they become part of of who you are, and you can utilize them and combine them to make things that other people can't do, or things that you would have to pay somebody to do, and they might not even do it right? So that's why I choose to learn everything that I want to do, so I can teach somebody to do it, then you build a team, right?
Mhm.
And you know, that's what I spent my 2000s doing, just, you know, dealing with that lawsuit, because it was two record companies fighting over us,
Oh,
and just making sure that I kept everything organized, kept all the discovery, knew what every trial was happening, all the motions, just really followed the case closely,
mhm.
and just kept working and working on my craft. I started voiceover,
Oh,
commercial voiceover, because I did radio commercials and stuff like that for the clubs, but I wanted to do traditional commercial voiceover. And I used to fly to New York, fly to LA, and come back to work and just round robin and learn how to do voiceover.
can you sleep at all?
Yeah. No, hey, I sleep plenty, right? But
Sleep when you where?
no, I sleep all the time. I'm gonna get my rest, period. And so, you know, fast forward to um today, and I'm better for all of it, right? You know, voiceover, I was working for Apple Radio. I've done a couple things for Disney. You know, now I have an agent and I'm booking like crazy, and it just has been good. But then, you know, I get signed to People Store in Atlanta, Georgia, a talent agency for voiceover. And I'm having a meeting up there one day, and the owner's like, I like your face, put him on camera. So now I'm an actor, right? And just by happenstance, and took some headshots, started going to class, and I got hooked. And now, 2020 was incredible. I shot 2 movies during the pandemic, booked the Tyler Perry show. What else? Several voiceover ads, and here comes Geico.
French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate, peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, shakalaka, 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 shaka. Scoop, shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka. Geico.
And
Yeah, that's
2020 was one of the best years of my life, promise you.
one of my
And
favorite commercials.
you know, the pandemic was important because it forced all of us to stop. And when I stopped, it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I tell a lot of young people this, like, you better have irons in the fire, because if one goes down, you got to be able to, you know, it's like next up, the next hustle has to be up. And I can't do shows, can't do this, can't do that. So then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're doing voiceover. It's like, but you're already doing voiceover. Nah, we got to get good at voiceover, because if you're going to make money at it, you know, there's other people who are saying, okay, I'm going to do voiceover. So everybody's trying to do voiceover now because you can do it at home. And I went back to the beginning, and I said, I have to reinvent myself. And every class I take, I record as long as I can remember. Anything I do, I record. And go back to 2009, I organized all these 2-hour sessions, and I listened to the first voiceover I did, and it was heartbreaking.
Wow.
Because I had to listen to my 10-year ago self, right?
Well,
I had to listen to me talk 10 years ago.
wow.
And I had to listen to my hubris, and I had to listen to my just ignorance. You know, you could still be older and have a little ignorance left in you, right? So
I haven't. Mhm.
so
I never stop learning.
yeah, never stop learning. So it was heartbreaking in the sense that I thought back then that it was the coach's fault that they weren't coaching me right, because, you know, my summation was that I could Whoomp, there it is, my way through anything.
Yeah. Oh,
And that's not true, right? You have to put in the work. And because I've been an actor and really stuck with voiceover, they were teaching me everything I needed. They were the best coaches in the game, teaching me everything I needed to know, but I didn't know the language, right? So sometimes it takes the 14th time before you get something,
yeah.
right? That's why you can't quit, because you never know when it's gonna come back to you.
Practice.
You practice. So I went over this. I heard my first voiceover. It was cringeworthy, but it was also inspiring, because I said, you know what? I'm going to do this voiceover over and take their notes. And when I did it, it was just purely angelic, because that was the first time I had ever had total mastery over my voice, right?
You have a wonderful voice.
And I went through 42-hour sessions and just started booking out the gate. And 2020, like I said, was an incredible year. And because I reinvented myself,
Mhm.
you know, that changed my whole perspective of thinking. And that let me know I could do anything. It's about how you learn how to learn, right? We can all learn. If I get an extra long email sometimes, I don't feel like reading it. I might read 2 lines, but like I'll read this later, right? But you can't do that. So what I'll do, I've got AI software where I'll throw it in software and it reads it to me. Now I'm still checking all the other emails and it's reading it to me, right? And I'm getting it and picking up pieces and I might read along with it, right? So I say learn how to learn because there's so many different ways to learn than the traditional ways. And that's how you retain more information. That's how you become smarter. That's how you overcome things. And I've been able to overcome so many things just in the past couple of years that is just, it just has really worked well for me. And you cannot, like, my analogy is you cultivate the dirt, you plant a seed, and you don't sit there and cross your legs and be like, grow seed, grow, seed, grow seed.
Well, life in it grows.
Well, it didn't grow, so I quit.
Mhm.
You can't do that. That doesn't work like that. You plant that seed and you keep it moving. Go plant more seeds, go plant more seeds. And throughout the years, I've been planting all these seeds, knowingly or unknowingly. And now I'm standing in a forest of opportunity. And I'm taking advantage of it. And things are coming my way that I could have never imagined because of my hustle, right? Because of what I do, what I chose to do. We all have a choice, right? And I choose to play offense and don't look, perceive things as quid pro quo. If I do this, this has to happen. I just do it because I know it needs to be done. Yeah. And then go to the next thing and the next thing. And then all of a sudden you look back in your wake. Hey, I planted that seed 3 years ago. Now it's fully grown and it's come back to me, right? So if anybody, that's what I try to talk to people about is changing your perspective on how you do things and how the choices that you make can affect you in ways that you'll never know, right? That's why you just do things and you just move forward.
I always think positive. That's how I look at life.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, like I said, I've acquired the ability to take any emotion, negative emotion, pain, envy, sadness, fear, and put it in my pocket. Don't react to it. Just put it in your pocket and use it. I use it later. I had a conversation with one of my writers today. She was like, don't you get nervous? Do you still get nervous when you go on stage? I'm like, I'm a basket case when I get on stage. She said, how you deal with it? I said, I use it. You use it. There's a way to use it. You have to channel it into positive energy and use it. Right. You're still going to feel like you're in disarray, but you know you have to get through it and you get through it. It's simple.
Like, when I, just before I go on to interview someone, like, I'm scared fretless. Good idea. I was going to say something else, but yeah. Family show.
No, but I know what you're saying, but you just have to, use it. Be scared. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a human emotion. Yes. Okay, I'm scared, but I'm still gonna do this.
Face it, baby.
You do it anyway. I don't mean, and you embrace how you feel. If it feels horrible, it feels awkward, just embrace it because you're gonna get through it. If you go through it, you're gonna get through it. You might stumble, but you're gonna get through it. Yeah. And it's not about being strong or any of that. It's just about using it. Don't let it use you. You use it. Yes. And you just you get through it. And now all of that is easier said than done. Right. But that mindset, things tend to bounce off of you. Things tend to, you don't get mad at things because you know what you are going to do. I have a choice. This is my choice. I choose to do right. They can do wrong, but I'm going to do right. I'm going to help people. I'm going to touch the world with what I do, commercials, Whoomp, there it is, acting. I want to touch the world. And I've been touching the world, and that's what I've done with this commercial.
How do you help the community? What do you do for your community where you're at?
See, I'm a loner, so I really don't have a community. See, if you live in a big city, or it depends on where you at, if you have a community, right? So my community is the people in my condo complex.
Yeah.
So I'll help them. You know what I mean? If I can, but you know, the world is my community because everybody knows me. So if 3 people listening that are going to listen to this podcast get something, that's why I do 5-6 podcasts a day. Because if 2 or 3 people can get something out of this podcast, I've done my job for the community as a whole, right? And that is how I help the community, because I'm different, right?
And you help yourself too.
Of course. And I really do, because I learn more from running my mouth than anything else, right? The more I talk, the more I learn. I'm working things out. I'm coming up with ideas. I'm coming up with innovations. I'm saying, oh, that works.
Very creative. That's what I like.
This works. That works. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I can have a conversation with anybody, because I am going to always look at the glass half full. And I try to help people. I try to help people I shouldn't help. I don't burn bridges, but I do remember, right? And like I said, I can be angry, but I'll take that and I use it, because it only makes me stronger. It makes my resolve greater. Like, you tell me I can't do something, okay.
Oh, I'm going to do it.
I hear you. Everybody's against me acting. Now I'm in movies and television shows and now it's my living, because I knew, and I had a choice that I was going to do the work to get to where I was going to do the work others wasn't going to do. And that's the mindset you have to have. You have to be willing to do the work that other people won't do. And you're in a league of your own, because you're out there by yourself. And when you're out there by yourself on rough seas, you learn how to pilot a ship. You learn how to get through those currents. You learn how to do those things. It might seem fruitless, but you're practicing and putting in the reps as you're doing it. And then you achieve mastery over it. And then you look back and then it's just calm seas, right? And it's like, I got through that. Yeah. And now I know how to get through. I know how to get through any storm, right? And if a storm bigger comes, I just use the same approach. You fight and you go through it. You use all your intellect, you use all your experiences, and you come out the other side a better man than I was the day before. So my whole thing is just, you can't let things get to you.
That's right.
And it's just easier said than done, because things do get to me, but you just don't have to react to them, and you don't have to be a victim of them.
That's true.
You just put them in your pocket, use it for later. If I got an audition for acting, pull it out my pocket and use it for that. If I have this for that, pull it out my pocket, use it for that. You know, if I'm struggling, I don't quit. If there's something, it might take me a week to figure out something that might be elementary to others, or it might be rocket science to people. But I'll be the guinea pig. I'll figure it out. And then once you figure it out, it's like it never happened. You're not even thinking about, man, it took me a week to learn how to do that. But while you're doing it, you're like, why is this taking me so long to learn this? I want to quit. I want to quit just like everybody else, but I don't. I do the work anyway. Like I said, we all have a choice. We all have a choice.
Let's get back to your singing, your song. What motivated you to write Whoop, There It Is?
I write songs.
Oh, yeah.
It was just another song. There was no motivation. I wrote a song about us partying. That's what rappers do, right? So it really is that simple. And it just blew up. And it's just a combination of the right things happening at the right time in the universe. And it happens. And now it is a classic song. And it has been bought back in the form of ice cream. Go figure, right? Go figure. So I just,
Well, you're back in the saddle again.
Yeah, I'm back in, but then this is a different entity, right? This is something that's in my lane, because when I got the call from Geico, everybody's like, everybody asked me, now, are you happy that you have a Geico commercial? I'm like, I mean, it is what it is, but I was happy the first 2 days that I said, then I knew I had work to do, right? Because we're not doing shows. Usually you do a Geico show, you're on tour. So I had to figure out, how am I going to make a lemonade corporation out of lemons? And that's what I did. I learned, by accident, but because I'm tenacious, how to be my own PR firm, right? And, now I do all of this. I can get, nobody's telling me no, because I'm building relationships. I give good content. I try to motivate people. I'm a good person.
Oh,
And I have an interesting story.
you're a keynote speaker, are you?
I could be, if they were doing stuff like that now, if it was open, I probably would be keynote speaker somewhere. But it's more important for me to get in front of people who don't see me coming. That's why I love doing interviews and podcasts, because everybody thinks that we're going to talk about tour bus stuff back in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
And they end up getting, some life nuggets from my experience and my learning that they never would have thought of. It's just a different way of thinking. Like with the commercial, right? I prepared a month for that commercial. You would think I'd just show up and it's like, let's do it. And we did it. Yeah. I prepared a month trying to figure out, what do I want to do in this commercial, right? What do I want to bring to this? What do I want to bring to this party? And I'm like, spinning ice cream scoop. We could do some sprinkles, because I know kids love sprinkles. I don't know why, but kids love sprinkles. And there's a dance we do in the South that everybody knows it when they see it. So the whole South will think that, man, they're representing us, make people feel good. And this whole commercial took me back to my childhood, when my father used to crack about 8 eggs, throw some milk and some sugar and vanilla in a bowl, put it in a silver cylinder with ice around it in a wooden bucket, and salted ice with rock salt that we use for the snow, and make me and my brother churn this thing 5 minutes. And in 20 minutes, me and my brother are digging with big spoons, and we have ice cream. That's the essence I wanted to bring to this commercial, because that's the greatest feeling, that we were the happiest kids ever, because we didn't have to go to the store. We made our own ice cream, right? And that right there, just, it worked. And I wanted it to be where, when kids watch this commercial, they look at their mother, be like, Mommy, I want a party like that. And now I've got big kids going to their wife, baby, I want a party like that. You know what I mean? Just everybody wants, it has made everybody feel so good, because this is, at this time in the universe, in space, this is what the world needed. Yeah, just to feel good about something, right? It's been COVID for the last year. COVID and everybody's agendas and whatever has risen to the top, and a lot of things that we didn't know about other people that we love or don't love, we now know, and it's changed some things. But everybody agrees, this is the one thing everybody agrees on, is that they like this commercial, and that touches the world. That's how you take care of a community. So that I feel it's my obligation to talk as many times I can a day, and talk to people, whoever wants to listen, and just relay them the things that I wish somebody had taught me when I was a young man, right? Yeah. My parents did a wonderful job, right? They taught me everything they could, but my dad doesn't know about, shiesty, shady dudes in the music industry and take care of your publishing and all that, right? I just wish I had somebody to say, hey, young dude, make sure you don't get taken advantage of and do this. Now, I probably wouldn't have listened, because youth is wasted on the young, for real, right? But that doesn't mean I can't do the same for other people. And that's what I do. I try to teach these young cats, or anybody who wants to listen, not to get taken advantage of. I give them the whole game in one single shot, but they want to be stars. They thinking I'm going to say one thing, and they don't even understand. When people come to me, I say, okay, give me your email address. I send them a file. That file has a book in it.
Mm-hmm.
That book, is for them to read. If they don't want to read or can't read, then there's a video.
Yeah.
And I say, when you finish this, come talk to me and we'll talk about it. And I can tell you 95% of the people don't come back to me because they want to be stars. And the people that do, they're like, man, what? I understand. It's like, cool, but you attempted to read the book and you don't understand it. So that's why I can now tell you what it's about.
Right.
I said, now I am confident that you will never be taken advantage of in the music industry because this is what that book is about.
True.
I gave you the back end first as opposed to the front end.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're better for it.
Now you have to read it through.
Now that's what I wish somebody did for me in a way that even in a fast-paced world, I would have still been able to do it, right? So that's why I put the video in, because most people are going to gravitate to the video, but they're going to be like, book, ew.
Well, people don't have that expand as much as we used to when we were kids.
But that goes back to, right, learn how to learn, right? I know some people like to look at videos and learn. Some people like to read it, learn. Some people like to talk about it. So I'm not going to make it easy for you. I'm not going to give you everything because I know you're not going to do everything. But I'll give it, what do they say? You eat an elephant one forkful at a time, right? And that's how I have to teach people when I'm teaching them about the music industry. If you don't know this first fundamental thing first, we're wasting our time. It's not about what you sound like. It's not about how good you can sing. It's about none of that. It is about, can you sustain a career by not getting taken advantage of? And if you can do that, you will live a long and healthy, prosperous life, and you will always be able to make money because you will understand that ownership rights to your music is more important than anything later on down the road. And that goes back to 2017, where we finally had our day in court and we prevailed. But it was a war. And in any war, you lose an arm, you lose a leg, you lose an eye. But at that point, you have to suck it up and you have a choice, right? And my choice was to excel in voiceover and become a great actor, a great working actor. And that, I keep saying, my friends are like, why do you always say trying? I was like, well, I'm just trying to be a working actor. It's like, DC, you are a working actor. Like sometimes, like that was such a dream and so far-fetched to me sometimes that I knew it would happen, but when it did happen, it still felt like I wasn't there. And it's probably because I'm not there. I have to keep that mindset to keep moving because this is a lifelong venture.
Right.
You're always learning something as an actor. You're always learning something as a voice artist. And the true gift of that is that all acting is to me is being your true self. Every character that you get, you've done the same thing or been in the same shoes or have an emotion that you can go back in your past. And now the character becomes you. And it's believable because you've been through that.
Because you're a character yourself, kiddo.
Hey. So, I don't mean to get preachy or put on a sermon, but I am passionate about what I do.
That's true.
And I feel it is a gift that people like to hear me talk. And I just try to give them something worth listening to. That's all.
I write lyrics. I got songs out.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote one called The Corona Song. And someone sang it for me, Claire Bates.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to show that to you.
It's called The Corona Song?
The Corona Song.
Yep, I did. My first movie was called My Corona. It actually was a movie about living in the age of Corona.
Right.
And the other half is a documentary shot about shooting a movie in the age of Corona.
Wow.
So they're shopping both sides. They shot the movie, but then they shot a documentary while we were shooting the movie on what it was like to
Oh,
shoot in the age of
oh,
Corona. Was very smart, and I was glad to be a part of it. I mean, we did it in Nebraska, and it was just because I put in the work and because I treat people right. My acting coach called me, and she was casting it, and she was like, "Can you get to Nebraska?" I was like, "I sure can," and now I'm in the movies, right? And that's why it was so special to me.
are we going to have an Emmy or whatever? When it comes out?
Hey man, I'm trying to right now. Right now, I'm working on.
Mhm.
That's what I'm working on. Right now, I am working on trying to win every single award there is for commercials. I don't care if I win. I just want to be nominated so I can get the press juice, right?
Yeah.
But I do, but I've had the dream of being um I've always had the dream of really walking up on that stage and accepting the Oscar or Emmy, but never did anything about it my whole life. I've had opportunities, but I just wasn't ready. Sometimes in life, you're just not ready.
Mm.
And every day, I did an audition 2 hours ago and did good. And every day that I do more auditions, I feel I have a chance to achieve that goal if I keep putting in the work, if I keep making the right choices and just learn and get
Yeah.
better at the craft.
Taste yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
It burned out on both ends of the candle.
Hmm.
Say a candle, you burn both ends.
Nah, but see, all those are choices,
Mm,
right?
that's true. If you
You
don't.
can that's a choice that you go scattered brain like that. I don't do that.
I'm
You know,
sorry.
I hustle, I go hard, and then I stop, I eat well, and I get my rest.
Oh, good.
You know,
Glad you eat well.
I don't go out, I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Oh, good.
I get up and I work.
That's right.
I work hard. I'm trying to get just intellectually I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
And me doing a podcast is work, but it's beautiful work because I'm practicing articulation for voiceover. I'm
And
practicing storytelling for breaking down scripts. I'm practicing relationship skills. I'm practicing reading audiences. I'm practicing how to talk into the camera. I'm practicing all the things that I need to nurture all of my hustles, right? And it works beautifully. So I do these 4 or 5 times a day, right? Not to mention, you know, just making people feel good and making people happy. That's all I'm trying to do. And if it takes a podcast to do it and you and I having a conversation, well, let's talk.
now how do you? I have one more question
Mm-hmm.
before we turn off the camera. Oh, goodness. I mean, you're such a good person to talk with.
Thank
Right?
you.
Relax, and I like that. Oh, there's a question.
Hey, I do that all the time.
Out in one ear, not the other. There's nothing to stop it, in between. Uh, yeah, yeah, I'm going home. Okay, well, I'm glad you came on to my show.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. What would you like to say to my audience?
Hey, I'm glad to have been here. And just remember, now's the time to start going for your dreams and goals. You're never too old. You're never too young. You're never too whatever to do anything you want. It's just about a choice. Make the choice and just play offense and just keep learning how to learn. If you learn how to learn, things come to you faster. You retain more information. You become smarter. You make better decisions. Next thing you know, you've achieved your goal. So
Amen.
you can do this.
So, what are you doing for the future? Touring, whatever? No, not yet. Still.
There, like I said, standing in a forest of opportunity,
Mhm.
and every day brings something different, right? So I could book the audition I did today, and then now I might be on a TV series for 3-4 years.
Hello.
You see what I'm saying? I could book a movie and be in a Marvel movie tomorrow, or book whatever. because I audition every day. And every audition I do is a chance at greatness,
One
a
of
chance to show my craft.
one will grab you, man.
Hmm.
So bless you.
Best to you. And thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming on.
Oh, yeah. And last but not least, sprinkles.
Anyways, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Thank you so much for coming on my show, DC. And you are a wonderful person, and I hope that we can keep in touch if you wish.
Yes, ma'am.
God bless you, and happy Easter.
You too. Take care.
Pickles.
You know it. All right.
Godspeed.